Standing in front of the meat counter at your local supermarket, you are looking at rows of brightly colored raw steaks that look perfectly fresh, juicy, and premium. What most shoppers never realize is that a significant portion of supermarket beef has been injected with up to 15% added water, saltwater brine, sodium phosphates, and tenderizing enzymes to artificially inflate its weight and soften lower quality cuts. Under standard industry guidelines, meat processors can add these solutions to enhance moisture and tenderness, provided the package includes a subtle phrase like mechanical tenderization or tenderized with injected solution somewhere on the label. This means millions of households across the country are paying premium per pound beef prices for plain saltwater while unknowingly buying meat that requires much stricter cooking precautions. Where are you watching from in the United States? Maybe Texas, California, Florida, Ohio, New York, or Georgia? Drop your state in the comments below. And while you are down, sir, how old are you? I always love knowing who in our community is tuning in to learn more about what goes into their daily groceries. The federal regulatory framework surrounding beef sales in the United States relies heavily on guidelines set by the Department of Agriculture, which oversees meat grading, processing standards, and labeling accuracy, while the Federal Trade Commission regulates overarching claims made in national marketing. When beef is graded as prime, choice, or select, those designations refer specifically to the degree of intramuscular marbling and the age of the animal at harvest. However, grading is entirely voluntary, and the retail stores can legally sell ungraded beef right alongside graded cuts as long as the labeling does not mislead consumers about its official quality tier. Starting at the bottom tier of major retailer practices, discount warehouse clubs and the supercenters frequently sell mechanically tenderized beef without prominent front-of-package warnings. Mechanical tenderization involves driving hundreds of tiny motorized needles or blades deep into tough muscle fibers to break them apart before packaging. While this process undoubtedly makes an inexpensive cut of meat chewier and softer on the plate, it also pushes surface bacteria like Escherichia coli deep into the interior center of the steak. Consequently, while a solid intact steak can be safely cooked rare or medium, well, because bacteria remain on the exterior surface, needle tenderized steaks carry a higher risk unless cooked at an internal temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Moving up the large regional grocery store chains, a common tactic involves selling what is known in the meat industry as high oxygen modified atmosphere packaging. These are those deep plastic trays sealed with a tight, clear film that make the beef inside appear brilliantly cherry red for up to 2 weeks in the display case. That striking red tone comes from flooding the sealed container with an elevated concentration of pure oxygen gas, which reacts with myoglobin in the muscle tissue to create an artificially persistent bloom. While the steak looks extraordinarily fresh under the store lights, the high oxygen exposure actually accelerates lipid oxidation, often resulting in a premature, rancid off flavor and the tougher texture once cooked at home. At several national membership clubs, shoppers frequently encounter massive multi-packs of beef labeled as premium grain-fed steak at seemingly unbeatable prices. A closer examination of the fine print on these large trays often reveals that the meat is classified as selectia or completely ungraded, meaning it possesses minimal flux of natural fat marbling within the muscle. To compensate for the lack of natural tenderness, these wholesale cuts are sometimes pre-soaked or injected with subtle marinades and the sodium solutions before sealing. Independent industry testing of injected meat products indicates that these added fluids cook out rapidly into the hot pan, leaving the steak boiled in its own juices rather than properly seared. Another widespread practice across mid-tier supermarket chains involves the ambiguous labeling of grass-fed beef claims. While the Department of Agriculture oversees certified organic standards, the official marketing claim standard for grass-fed beef was formally withdrawn several years ago, leaving a regulatory gap where individual private standards vary widely. Unless a package specifically displays a recognized third-party verification mark or states grass-finished, the animal may have been fed grass for only a portion of its early life before being transferred to a conventional Feedlot for grain finishing. Consumers paying a high premium expecting puri, pasture-raised beef are often getting a product raised primarily on standard grain diets. When evaluating imported steak offerings at specialty and discount grocery outlets, labeling ambiguities become even more pronounced. Packages marked as product of USA historically only meant that the meat was processed or repackaged within domestic facilities, even if the cattle were born, raised, and slaughtered in another country. Although updated labeling rules are moving toward requiring animals to be born, raised, and harvested in the United States, the claim that origin inventory across various store shelves still reflects transitional labeling that can obscure the true origin and the cold chain shipping history of the meat. Learning what to look for on the physical label is the most powerful tool you have when navigating the retail meat case. Always flip the package over to check the official USDA grade shield, looking specifically for choice or prime if you want consistent natural marbling and tenderness without chemical additives. Scan the fine print on the ingredient statement or processing notice for phrases like injected with up to a 10% solution, blade tenderized, or mechanically tenderized. Choosing intact, non-injected cuts gives you full control over your seasoning, ensures safe cooking at lower internal temperatures, and guarantees you are paying exclusively for puree beef rather than added salt water. Finding truly transparent and minimally processed beef is entirely possible if you know where to direct your grocery dollars. Look for local butcher shops or retail stores that source whole, supreme cuts and break them down by hand, in-house without modified atmosphere, packaging or liquid injections. Choosing certified organic beef, third-party verified grass-finished cuts, or direct from ranch domestic suppliers ensures that the steak on your plate is naturally marbled, accurately labeled, and free from undisclosed mechanical processing. Which brand or grocery store chain do you currently buy your steaks from? And do you have a tray sitting in your fridge or freezer right now? If you found this breakdown helpful for your next grocery trip, please hit the like button and share this video with a friend who loves to grill. Our goal on this channel is always to help you shop smarter and make confident, informed choices for your family without falling for slick packaging tricks.